Welcome to the latest instalment of Shed Life, and I'm sorry there's been a delay since the last video, but I've had to have some major shoulder surgery which has slowed me down a bit. However, the pace of change in the shed is still as great as it ever was, and as such we're going to dive straight in and give you an update on the dynamic volume chamber which you saw us unbox in the last video. So I've managed to put just over 300 miles on the DVC unit, and before we go any further I must tell you that I fitted that in conjunction with a luft cap air piston. And I also done a lower leg service, so from here on in everything that's recorded with the DVC will be from a level playing field. I was told by Simon from SD Components not really to bother with fitting a luft cap. However, in the intervening weeks since receiving it and where we are today, obviously RockShox have now introduced the 2009 Debonair air piston, and it's got exactly the same negative chamber space as what you get with a luft cap. So either I was ahead of the game or just lucked out, but pretty much now I've got in essence a 2019 fork with a DVC fitted. The other thing I think that's prudent to mention is I've been running an MRP ramp cartridge since day one. The very first day these were released to the public, I bought one, fitted it to my other Yarri forks on my trail bike, and have been running it ever since. So from that point of view, we can give you, I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but I will do a video where we show the differences between a ramp cartridge and a DVC and what these subtle changes mean to you and your RockShox fork. So the other things I've been up to since I've been rehabbing are the front wheel has been built to now match the rear with the E13 cassette. I used a Hope front hub, and the reason I've done that was because I wanted to fit the torque caps and see what difference running those with the RockShox fork would make over just having standard end caps on the hub. And like I say, while I've only put a few hundred miles on, certainly changing the wheel is a heck of a lot easier now with the torque caps fitted to a hub than using the stock assembly that came with the bike. And the last thing I've been up to is I've been poking about for months trying to figure out if I can fit a headlight to my bike that's wired direct to the battery, and everywhere I've looked I've come up with negatives that you can't run a light on a PW motor, they don't chuck out enough power, and it's only the later PWX or the PWSE motors that can run a light. And we'll take you outside and show. So we're fast forwarded a couple of hours just so we can show you what the light looks like. Well, it's not completely pitch black, but you'll get the idea. Again, this is a 500 lumen light, but I think this is a really good one. So we'll turn it on now. And there you go, that's the 500 lumen pattern. That gives a lovely arc of light, and that shoots quite away and it lights everything up. And there you go, that is the Lumen SLS for a Yamaha bike hardwired into the battery. I'll take you outside and show you, but I can tell you here and now that's complete rubbish. But anyway, we'll show you what we've done with the bike, and we'll go outside now. So this is the bike as it stands right now, and here is the DVC fitted onto the bike. This is the Mark II version, and obviously with the cap fitted and the valve sunk into the unit, this is a lot more nicer looking, and certainly is an improvement aesthetically over the Mark I. So if we now come around to the front of the bike, we'll show you what I'm really proud of. And this is a Lupin SLS headlight, and it is wired. The wire comes down here and goes into the loom direct to the bike's battery. So if I turn the bike on, and then built into the control pad you've got a light switch already, and if I turn it on, boom, there we go. Now this is running directly off the main battery of the bike. In daylight mode, which is just these outer LEDs running, that runs 0.4 amps, and we built an amp tester to test this. And then on main beam or full whatever, and there is only one setting on this, and that's a 500 lumen lamp, but that runs 1.6 amps. That does absolutely no drain on the bike battery whatsoever, and we'll take some footage of this in the dark so we can show you the beam pattern, and this is a really nice little light. And the other thing I like is it's cleaned up the look of the bars no end. There's no USB lights or anything else cluttering up the bars, and from an aesthetic standpoint, I think this is a massive upgrade, and I'm loving this already. Last thing I've done while I've been off was I remounted my C-Sense icon light, and I cut a small hole in the mudguard and lowered it through, and used an old piece of handlebar and put some of my favourite liquid metal inside so I could thread it. And this is rubber mounted like it would be to a seat post, and the light obviously comes off in the same way. All the lights are now on top of the mudguard, but there's some of the light underneath, and that's got all the Bluetooth technology in. It doesn't affect anything, but that sure as heck looks a lot nicer and neater, and I can safely run at night, and when it's pouring rain or muddy, I don't get a soggy backside either. And if you're running a full sus bike and you're running a dropper post, I think this is a really good idea, because otherwise you're down to a choice of one or the other. As you can see, I don't think I wasted my time, and I've done as much as I physically could while I was rehabbing from my shoulder surgery. I've had some help from friends, certainly Ray from Howard Cycles, who built the front wheel for me while my arm was crook and I couldn't build it myself. Kojak, who's helped me run in a few bits and pieces on the bike, and members of the senior bike club who I ride with helped me along and kept me going when my spirits were down. And that's about it for this edition. Watch out for more Shed Life coming your way soon. Cheers.